Hello friends, my name is Behrouz and welcome to my channel where I share with you tips, tricks that I read, learn and apply on myself in order to become the best version of myself. I have been dabbling with the idea of starting my YouTube channel since forever. However, every time I would be unsure of whether I would be able to produce something of quality or something that would be of value to others. In this video, I'll talk about 3 mental challenges, or call it mental blocks, that I personally faced that kept me from starting my own YouTube channel, and I will also talk about how I overcame those mental challenges. The first challenge was what is also commonly referred as spotlight effect, which is also a well-researched psychological phenomena. It was the spotlight effect which gave rise to thoughts and feelings in me, such as that people will judge how I speak, how I talk, the content of my videos, they will pick on my accent or the way or my style of speaking. I would go on to think or tell myself that I'm not good enough. There are so many good YouTubers out there who are miles ahead. There are so many great YouTube channels out there who are talking about self-development far better than what I can do. Those guys have so much credibility, and every time I would be compared against those YouTubers and I would not stand a chance at all. This is all because of spotlight effect, which describes how people tend to believe that others are paying more attention to them than they actually are. In other words, our tendency to always feel like that we are in a spotlight. Imagine yourself in a big gathering where there is a spotlight on top of you at all times, and you are kind of center of attention, and whatever you do or say will be noticed by everyone. Now let me talk about how I overcame this challenge. For better or worse, the truth is that other people don't think or care about us as much as we think they do. Sometimes just reminding ourselves of this fact can do away with the spotlight effect. Rather, everyone is actually suffering from a similar spotlight effect where they think that the spotlight is actually on them. While we think that everyone is overthinking about us, in reality everyone is immersed in worrying and thinking about how others are judging them. I cemented this idea by imagining how I would feel if I was on the other side, listening to a video from a colleague at work or a classmate from my university. Frankly speaking, when I thought about it, I was like, I may give a passing thought about that person, but that's it. Let me explain in a more relevant way. For instance, on many occasions, you've probably been in an audience of a talk where the presenter fumbled their words a bit, but such an episode probably didn't register with you much. Because at best, you may think about that moment there and then, but then once you're left the moment, that memory is mostly gone. It may feel like an end of the world to the presenter, but others don't really give it a lot of thought. This thinking pattern is the simple way I use to calm and comfort myself when I found myself caught up in the anxiety due to the spotlight effect. The second challenge that I was facing was the feeling that I may not have anything original to share. It's like as if I'm selling some snake oil. All that I share and talk about is something that I've read, learned and applied. So if all this material is already available, why do I need to reshare? Why would someone like to hear it from me? Frankly, I got over this challenge when I came across this quote by a French writer, André, for the first time. Everything that needs to be said has already been said. But since no one was listening, hence everything needs to be said again. I reflected on this quote and realized that many times I read something profound but don't really get a chance to register it or understand the way it should really have been understood or what it really meant. Hence it was only after a couple of repetitions or seeing that particular thing or that quote or that profound knowledge in a particular context or in its particular application that I was able to register and understand it. Secondly, what is actually obvious to you may be amazing to others. I realized this when I would be in a gathering of friends and family and share with them something very profound that I heard or read. The response that I would receive many a times would be over and above my expectations, making me realize that what I just shared either is not commonly known or understood, or otherwise it was not used in a particular context in which I used it, or explained well with a personal local example, which in most cases would be my own example putting that particular concept in use. The next challenge is the feeling that I may not be ready because I don't have the right equipment or the right sound or the right lighting, right script or all the right materials. Following is a study that I came across which helped me resolve this challenge, which I also talk in my video Why Perfection is Enemy of Good, and sharing the link of that video above. An experiment was run in University of Florida on a class of film photography. The class was divided into two groups. The group on the left was the quantity group, who would be graded on the amount and quantity of work that they produce. So whoever would produce the most amount of photographs will get the highest amount of marks. Meanwhile, everyone on the right side of the room will be the quality group. They would be graded only on the excellence of their work. They would only need to produce one photo in the entire semester. But to get an A, it had to be nearly perfect image. At the end of the semester, the professor was surprised to find that the best photos actually came from the quantity group. During the semester, these students were busy taking photographs, experimenting with composition, with lighting, testing out various methods in the darkroom, and learning from their mistakes. In the process of creating hundreds of photos, they honed their skills. Meanwhile, the quality group sat around speculating about perfection. In the end, they had little to show for their efforts other than unverified theories and one mediocre photo. I have personally seen this come true with my YouTube channel. To prove my case, I will share for sake of comparison the first video that I published on this channel. The same content I redid a couple of weeks back. So why is it difficult to find a job in Canada? Essentially, for newcomers, there are two key challenges. One is lack or total absence of North American working experience, and second is lack or total absence of North American education. So for most of us, like myself, coming from developing world, holding no prior Canadian or North American experience or education, it becomes difficult to even get to the interview stage, let alone finding a job. Now, the key challenge that we as newcomers face when we are trying to tap into the Canadian job market is a typical response we get, which is one, we don't have Canadian experience, or we don't have Canadian education on our resumes. I'm sure, just like me, you will find a stark difference in the quality between the two videos. If I had waited to get to perfection before I started, I'd still be sitting around trying to figure out instead of really making things happen. In my experience, it is in the act of doing the work and making things happen that we turn ready. Start making stuff. You might be scared in the start, but that is natural. Ask anyone who's doing truly creative work and they will tell you the truth. They really don't know where the good stuff comes from. They just simply show up to do their thing every day. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully this video will be helpful for you to now stop procrastinating on your passions or things that you wanted to do since forever and just start doing them. Thank you.